Back to Bazaar Morning Call. As promised, ICICI Lombard is the company that we're going to track right now. It was a decent set of earnings, as we told you earlier as well. The net premium earned went up to 3,250 crores and the profits as well improved quarter on quarter. Gopal Balachandran, who is the CFO of the company and the Chief Risk Officer as well, joins in to talk about that. Mr. Balachandran, good morning and thanks so much for joining in. I just wanted to ask you a little bit about what the second half of the year could look like. When do we see the premium growth coming back, especially in the motor insurance segment?
Yeah, I think good morning, Sonia. That's a good question. So I think from an ICICI Lombard standpoint, what we have essentially been doing is to kind of continue with our focus on building the book from a sustainable standpoint insofar as underwriting profitability is concerned. So it is in that context, when you look at the numbers, particularly for the segment that you talked about for motor, for the first half of the year, if you would have seen, we kind of pretty much maintained, I would say, in that sense, a flattish growth. That's again to do with the competitive intensity that is operating in the market. And our approach, as we speak currently, given the competitive intensity sustaining, from an ICICI Lombard standpoint, we would obviously want to maintain that stance even as we look forward into, let's say, the second half of the year. Having said that, while this is at an aggregate level for motor as a segment, but if you were to break down into different segments within that, I think for us, we continue to seize the opportunity insofar as, let's say, the commercial vehicle segment has done quite well. It has grown by almost 20% in the first half. If you look at two-wheeler, I think that's again grown at about 5%. It's a private car segment is where I think, given the competitive intensity that I talked about, I think we have been taking a cautious stand. Insofar as the demand is concerned, we clearly see the underlying environment forces customers to look for increased use of private vehicles. So hence, demand is pretty much there. As we have kind of seen in the past few weeks, clearly there seems to be some challenges in the supply side constraints. And hence, we will have to obviously wait and watch for the development that happens in this regard. But overall, quite excited with the opportunity and the way we are positioned in order to capture the growth, even in the motor segment.
Okay. So that's the motor segment. But, you know, just talking about, hi, good morning, Gopal, first of all. Talking about the health side of the business, obviously there's a lot of improvement there for obvious reasons. Underwriting losses have, reduced significantly. But what about pricing? I mean, how much has been sort of the average price hike in premiums? And do you think that pricing will keep going up in the health segment? What do you forecast for the business now as hopefully we are ebbing off from the COVID wave?
Thanks, Subi. I think that's a great question. So if you look at on the health side, you're absolutely right. I think the underlying environment has clearly kind of necessitated the demand for health insurance as a segment. And if you look at quarter one specifically, before I kind of talk through in terms of how we are seeing on the pricing side, quarter one, we did see experience, not just for us, if you look at a national level, I think clearly we saw the significant increase in COVID cases. In line with that, I think if you look at from an ICICI Lombard standpoint, we are kind of provided for claims on COVID cases to the tune of almost about 602 crores. That clearly had an impact on our combined ratios by almost about 20 percentage points when you looked at numbers for quarter one. Having said that, I think clearly when we looked at the impact of COVID, we did kind of on the corporate health segment undertake price revision in the ranges of 15 to 20%. That is something that we had talked about even when we kind of announced results for Q1. And we're extremely happy to kind of report that when we look at quarter two, we have actually been able to kind of have price increases slightly higher than that range. And more importantly, the good news is we have actually been able to retain more than 90% of our corporate accounts when it came up for renewals. So in that sense, I think the pricing is kind of holding on. And however, the impact of this increased pricing insofar as our underwriting outcomes are concerned will happen over the next 3 or 4 quarters because the earnings of premium will happen over the policy contract. But at least on the pricing side, I think things seems to be looking up. And the other good news is, I think as you rightly said, insofar as COVID intimations are concerned, in this quarter specifically, clearly we have seen again more at a national level and specifically for ICICI Lombard. Clearly we have seen reduction in number of COVID cases as well.
Gopal, hi, morning. Have you taken a price increase or will you take a price increase in the motor TP business? Can you talk about that? And second, could you give us an overall sense of what premium growth will look like for you? How much of that is really dependent on the auto sales cycle really starting to pick up? Because there is clearly, we're hearing good things, demand is picking up there, etc. But is it a cycle? I mean, one is not so sure. An up cycle. Go on.
Yeah. So good morning, Prashant. I think, again, that's a great question. So I think if you look at, particularly in the context of motor, I think, as I said, on the motor third-party side, Prashant, just for information, that's something that is regulated by the IRDAI, which is our sector regulator. As you would have kind of heard us talking about this, over the last couple of years, we have not necessarily seen any kind of a price increase that has been affected insofar as motor third-party premiums are concerned. There was an expectation that we would be seeing a price increase this year, but as we speak, the increase has not come through. But clearly, we have made our representation to the regulator, and hopefully, we are not sure whether anything could happen, at least so far as FY22 is concerned. But there is clearly an expectation, given the increase in the claim sizes that we have seen, there is an expectation we could potentially see an increase in the motor TP pricing coming through in FY23. To your other point, in terms of how do we see the demand getting shaped up, as I said, I think obviously we will have to wait for the trend line. The demand side is pretty much in place. The way we are kind of positioned is we are present across multiple channels of distribution, whether it is tie-ups with OEMs, whether it is the agency distribution, or whether it is the direct e-channel division that we have. Our focus has been a contribution of business coming in from both new and renewal. And hence, of course, there is an impact till the time the new vehicle sales starts to pick up, it will tend to have an impact in terms of growth. But our focus has been, even in the past, and it will continue even for the way forward, in terms of trying to grow the book through increased retentions on the motor portfolio.
Okay, I just want to ask you a little bit about what's happening with the stake sales, because AXA has exited completely with their, selling their 3.5% stake. But ICICI Bank also has a nod to lower their stake. Bharti owns a stake as well. Any intimation of what's happening with that?
So honestly, Sonia, I think very difficult for us to comment, because I think that's a decision that those respective shareholders will take at an appropriate time. But the only thing that I can talk from an ICICI bank standpoint, I think this is public information. I think if you look at even at the time when the transaction was announced, their stake was coming down below 50. And as we speak, the ICICI Bank stake in ICICI Lombard is about 48% At that point of time, the bank had already applied to the government, and the government had kind of given them a 3-year window, which is there until 2023 September, by which time they will have to look at bringing down their holding from the current levels of 48%. Because under the Banking Regulation Act, the bank can hold either less than 30 or more than 50% in its subsidiaries.
Okay. So Gopal, then all things put together, give us an outlook for the full year, if you can, on the premium growth that you're forecasting. And also now that, this AXA deal is done with the amalgamation and the merger, in terms of just business growth, what more will it bring to the table? How much can you synergize in the second half of this year itself? And what should we expect, at least on the headline numbers?
Yeah, I think that's again a good question, Subhi. Let me answer the second part first. I think if you look at from the Bharti AXA integration, I think we are extremely excited with the fact that we got, in fact, the final approval from IRDAI in this quarter, and the effective date for the transaction was September 8th. Over the last 12 months, I think we have been planning for integration of the two companies. And as we speak, on 8th September, we were able to operationally integrate the two companies across multiple stakeholder interests. So that's kind of gone very well. And now it's a time for us to kind of start realizing the synergies, what we would have looked out in the transaction, which could span across synergies from revenues, claims, and costs. What we will be able to exhibit is, and something that we have talked about even to the market, is on the cost side. I think we should start seeing some part of synergies coming through in FY22. But the bulk of the cost synergies is something that we will see in FY23 in terms of its impact. Claim synergies, again, will start to play through over the next 9 months. But insofar as the distribution is concerned, I think on the revenue side, I think we are extremely excited with the way things have progressed in terms of the increased access to distribution that we have got as a part of the process. But having said that, I think it will obviously take about 18 to 24 months before we can fully realize the entire benefits on the revenue synergies front. So that's the way we are looking at tapping into the synergies, what one would have expected as a result of this transaction. To your first part of the question in terms of how things could shape up insofar as the full year is concerned, as I said, I think we are extremely excited from an ICICI Lombard standpoint with the opportunity that the market presents. Now, let me try and break this into different segments. If you look at commercial lines, we have been kind of talking through even in the past. That's a segment which has done exceedingly well for us, whether it is the corporate or whether it is the SME space. And clearly you can see numbers across the commercial lines, whether it's fire, marine, engineering, liability, group health. I think clearly we have been able to kind of have a growth number which is higher than the market growth numbers. So that's something that we continue to see sustaining even as we kind of head into H2 of the year. If you look at health, health has always been a preferred segment for us, whether it is the corporate health or whether it is the retail health. And the kind of investment that we announced even in Q1 last year of adding about 1,000 incremental people to the health distribution on the frontline side, that is something that will again start to kind of have increased activation over the next, I would say, 6 to 12 months. So that's an area which we are excited, and therefore health will continue to be one of the fastest growing segment. Motor, I already spoke about. I think clearly at this point of time, we are seeing maybe a relatively higher levels of competitive intensity. Our approach generally has been that whenever we have seen competitive intensity at elevated levels, we have always tried to kind of be far more disciplined insofar as underwriting the risk is concerned, and obviously take a cautious approach till the time we see pricing levels starts coming back. So overall, I think we believe we are fairly positioned to seize the opportunity even when we look into H2 of the year. But very difficult to kind of, there are lots of moving parts in the overall scheme of things. Very difficult to put out a number in terms of what that growth could translate into.
Gopal, it's always a pleasure. Great having you with us here. Thanks very much for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Surabhi, the other